In the vibrant heart of Chicago, where city lights flicker like unspoken secrets, Amara Grace Whitmore, a pregnant woman with profound brown eyes, quietly navigates the glittering world of high society. As the wife of millionaire Dominic Alexander Hayes, she bears the name the Silent One, always observing, always concealed. Yet, when betrayal and violence shatter her perfect facade, Amara discovers a quiet strength within, guiding her toward justice and inspiring countless others. Can a small voice truly shake an entire empire? Join us to uncover her journey. Alright, before you settle in, take a sec to like the video and subscribe, but only if you're genuinely vibing with what I'm putting out here. And drop a comment below letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is for you. It's always a thrill to see who's joining us from all corners of the globe. Amara Grace Whitmore stands before the mirror, her trembling hand gently smoothing the pearl silk dress, its soft fabric clinging to the delicate curves of her 4-month pregnant body. Her warm brown eyes, deep as the depths of a lake, reflect a nameless anxiety. She bites her lips softly, a small habit when her heart begins to race, struggling to pin her emotions into a hidden corner. Her glossy black hair is pinned up high, each strand meticulously arranged, just as she has learned to conceal the cracks in her soul. Tonight is the annual charity gala of Hayes Enterprises, a dazzling stage where she must play the role of the perfect wife. Yet within, Amara feels like a bird trapped in a gilded cage, her wings trembling, unable to soar. Dominic Alexander Hayes strides into the room, his commanding presence radiating from a sharply tailored tuxedo. His charming smile, once the spark that set her heart aflame, now feels cold as a blade. His piercing blue eyes sweep over her, not with admiration but with scrutiny, as if she were an object to be inspected before display. "We can't be late," he says, his tone icy and sharp, each word like an invisible cord tightening around Amara's chest. She nods, her lips pressed tight, forcing the practiced smile honed over 5 years of marriage. But her heart constricts, a dull ache spreading within. Dominic's words are not mere reminders. They are commands, a warning that she must be flawless, invisible, obedient. Years by Dominic's side have worn Amara down, shaping her into a refined wife who knows how to smile when her heart is breaking, how to stay silent when she longs to scream. She once believed his love was a beacon of light, but now it feels like a storm, sweeping her into whirlpools of doubt and fear. Each cold glance, each controlling remark, makes her feel as though she's walking on thin ice, ready to shatter at any moment. She no longer recognizes the woman in the mirror, the one who once dreamed of a complete family, of warm days with husband and child. Now, there is only a quiet Amara, always observing, always hiding. Her hand instinctively rests on her belly, where her first child grows, a tiny but powerful heartbeat. A warmth spreads from her fingertips, like a whisper that she is not alone. This baby is the only light in her darkness, the hope she clings to amid waves of uncertainty. Yet even this joy is overshadowed by Dominic's pressure. He has never asked about the child, never touched her belly with a father's tenderness. Instead, he only reminds her to maintain appearances, to ensure she does not disgrace Hayes Enterprises. Amara closes her eyes, drawing a deep breath, trying to dispel the loneliness strangling her chest. She recalls the early days, when Dominic was the man who made her laugh until she was breathless, when his gaze held warmth. But somewhere along the way, that love vanished, leaving a chilling void. She wonders, did she do something wrong? Was she not enough to keep him? These questions gnaw at her mind, but Amara refuses to let them prevail. She opens her eyes, staring directly at her reflection. The woman in the mirror may be anxious, but she is not weak. She is Amara, the quiet observer, the one who notices everything, and deep within, she knows she will not remain silent forever. She steps out of the room, her high heels clicking steadily on the marble floor, like a drumbeat urging her forward. Dominic waits at the door, his gaze impatient. "Let's go," he says, not looking at her, as if she were merely a piece of his perfect plan. Amara follows, her heart heavy, but her hand still rests lightly on her belly, a silent vow to her unborn child. Tonight, she will play the ideal wife once more. But deep inside, a small flame smolders, awaiting its moment to blaze. The quiet one does not merely observe. She is preparing step by step, breath by breath, for a battle she has yet to fully realize. Amara Grace. Whitmore glides through the crowd, her pearl silk dress swaying gently with each step, but the polite smile on her lips never reaches her eyes. Those deep brown eyes, like a still lake hiding turbulent undercurrents, tirelessly scan the room. The charity gala at the Four Seasons is a stage for Chicago's elite, where every glance is calculated, every word laced with intent. Yet Amara, the quiet observer, notices the cracks others overlook. She stands there, amid the ringing laughter and clinking wine glasses, feeling like an outsider in a play where she has no leading role. She exchanges a few greetings, her voice soft and measured, but her mind is busy cataloging every tiny detail. Serena Blake, Dominic's new assistant, stands nearby, her crimson lips curving into a radiant smile, but her eyes dart repeatedly toward Dominic. A fleeting glance, then another, as if awaiting a signal. A chill runs down Amara's spine, not from jealousy, but from an instinct whispering that something is amiss. She presses her lips together, her fingers unconsciously tightening around the glass of water in her hand, trying to quell the unease rising like a discordant melody in her heart. Dominic, her husband, has been absent from their table for too long. He smiles at investors, shakes hands and chats, but his absence stretches beyond what's necessary. Amara notices, just as she's noticed the times he came home late with the faint scent of unfamiliar perfume, or how he hurriedly locked his phone screen when she entered the room. These small fragments, seemingly harmless, now begin to form a picture she dreads confronting. She turns her head, her gaze sweeping through the crowd, catching a group whispering, their voices halting as she draws near. They smile, but their smiles are strained, as if they know something she's not permitted to understand. Her heart pounds, each beat like a drum urging her forward. She tells herself she's imagining things, that this suspicion is merely a product of sleepless nights and the pressures of being a millionaire's wife. But deep within, a small voice, the voice of the quiet one, whispers that she's not wrong. She cannot stand still. She cannot pretend everything is fine. When she sees Dominic slip quietly from the ballroom, heading toward the outdoor garden, a surge of adrenaline courses through her. She sets her glass down, her hand trembling slightly, and decides to follow. Not out of jealousy, but because she craves the truth. Her steps are light, her high heels clicking evenly on the stone floor, but inside, her mind is a storm. She recalls the moments Dominic changed, how he avoided her gaze when discussing work, how his laughter grew louder to mask something, how his voice carried an increasing impatience when he spoke her name. Those memories pierce her heart like needles, but she doesn't stop. The quiet one does not flee. She observes, she remembers, and now she acts. Each step pulls her farther from the glittering light of the ballroom, her heart racing faster, as if it senses what lies ahead. She pauses for a moment, drawing a deep breath, her hand instinctively touching her belly. The child within her, small but vibrant, is a reminder that she's not fighting only for herself. She pushes the glass door open, stepping out, no longer the obedient wife, but a woman ready to face the darkness. Within her, fear and determination intertwine, forming a fragile yet resilient thread. The quiet one does not speak, but she sees everything. And tonight, she will not let the truth slip away. Amara Grace Whitmore stands frozen, her feet rooted to the ground as her eyes catch the scene before her. Dominic, her husband, his arms wrapped tightly around Serena Blake, their silhouettes entwined in a shadowed corner. His low, rumbling laughter, once the sound that set her heart alight, now slices through her chest like a razor-sharp blade. Serena's sweet voice, like honey laced with poison, weaves into the air, each note a jagged cut tearing apart the fragile remnants of Amara's hope. Her heart pounds wildly, not from jealousy, but from the brutal truth laid bare before her. She wants to run, to scream, but the quiet one within her holds her fast, compelling her to face it. She steps forward, her high heels clicking tremulously on the floor, each stride pulling her closer to an abyss. Her hands clench, nails digging into her palms, as if physical pain could drown the storm raging in her soul. "Dominic!" she calls, her voice quivering yet resolute, ringing out like a declaration of war against her own fear. He turns slowly, utterly shameless. His deep blue eyes, once her refuge of comfort, now hold only irritation, as if she's an uninvited intruder. Serena steps back, her fiery red dress swaying faintly, but her gaze is sharp, defiant, as if proclaiming victory in a game Amara didn't even know she was playing. Amara draws a breath, straining to keep her voice from shattering. "What are you doing?" The question spills out, not to hear an answer, but to affirm she will not stay silent. But Dominic merely sneers, his smile as cold as a sharpened blade. "You could never understand the needs of a man like me," he says, each word a slashing blow, carving through the years she sacrificed, trusted, loved. His words are not just betrayal. They are a denial of her entire being, reducing her to a faint shadow in his glittering world. Inside, Amara's soul screams, but outwardly, she stands tall, her brown eyes locked on him, searching for any trace of the man she once loved. There is none, only arrogance, cruelty, and a Dominic she no longer recognizes. Nearby, a small crowd of curious guests gathers, their whispers rising, but Amara hears nothing but the thundering of her own heart. She wants to speak more, to force him to face the truth, but before her words can escape, Dominic raises his hand. The slap comes swift, fierce, without warning. The sharp crack echoes, slicing through the air. Her cheek burns, her mind reels, but the physical pain is nothing compared to the wound in her heart. Amara staggers, her hand instinctively rising to her cheek, feeling the warmth of blood rushing beneath her skin. Tears spill over, not from pain, but from humiliation, from the shattered dream of a family, from the child in her womb witnessing its father reject them both. Flashes from nearby phones flare up, each burst of light like a needle stabbing her pride. They capture this moment, not to aid her, but to turn her agony into gossip. Amara feels stripped bare before the world, yet amid the devastation, a spark ignites. Not weakness, but resilience. She closes her eyes for a fleeting second, drawing a trembling breath, and when she opens them, she no longer looks at Dominic. She ignores Serena, the crowd. She sees only herself, the quiet one who has endured too long. Her hand gently touches her belly, where her child grows, a silent vow that it will not be raised in the darkness of betrayal. She stands erect, her shoulders quivering but unyielding. Without a word, she turns, walking away, her heels clicking steadily, each step a silent proclamation. She will not be destroyed. Behind her, the stunned gazes of the crowd and Dominic's silence are swallowed by the shadows. Amara does not look back. Tears stream down her cheeks, but she doesn't wipe them away. They are not signs of frailty, but proof of a heart that still feels pain, still loves, still fights. The quiet one has seen the truth, and now she will not let it bury her. She steps away from the garden, not as a victim, but as a woman reclaiming her voice, ready to face whatever lies ahead. Amara Grace Whitmore huddles on the sofa, her crumpled pearl silk dress clinging to her body, a cruel reminder of the fateful night just past. Her hands cradle her belly, where her tiny child grows, as if she could shield it from the shards of a world that has just collapsed. Tears silently stream down her cheeks, not loud sobs, but a quiet flow carrying pain, humiliation, and vanished dreams. The small apartment of Isabel Torres, her dearest friend, is a fragile sanctuary. Yet in this moment, it feels like the entire universe, sheltering her from the judging eyes of the outside world. Amara feels like a bird with broken wings, plummeting from the glamorous heights she once strove to belong to. Dominic's slap left not only a red mark on her cheek, but a deep wound in her soul, where her self-respect was trampled. She closes her eyes, and images flood back. His mocking smile, Serena's presence, the flashing phone cameras, the crowd's whispers. Each memory is a knife, yet they also awaken a part of her long buried. The quiet one, the one who always observes, no longer wishes to stay silent. She opens her eyes, her brown gaze now holding not just pain, but a faint, unyielding spark of resolve, small but impossible to extinguish. Isabel enters, carrying a mug of mint tea, its warmth spreading through Amara's trembling hands as she takes it. Isabel says nothing, asks nothing, simply sits beside her, her presence like a warm blanket wrapped around Amara's frozen heart. Isabel's gentle decisiveness, the way she quietly rests a hand on Amara's shoulder, speaks comfort without words. In that moment, Amara feels the purity of friendship, a love she had lost in the years of being Dominic's wife. She sips the tea, the faint mint slipping through, but it cannot calm the storm within. She wonders, how can she go on? How can she face a world that witnessed her shame? Amara's phone buzzes incessantly, its screen lighting up with notifications she dares not read. The video of the slap has spread across social media, making her the focal point of pity and outrage. Each comment, each headline, is a reminder that she is no longer Amara, the perfect wife of Dominic Hayes. She is Amara, the woman betrayed, struck in front of hundreds. She wants to flee, to vanish, but her hand touches her belly, feeling the tiny heartbeat of her child. The baby knows nothing of her pain, but it needs her, and for it she cannot crumble. As dawn breaks, faint lights seeping through the curtains, Amara picks up her phone, her trembling fingers dialing her parents in suburban Michigan. When Malcolm Whitmore's warm, steady voice answers, "My darling, it's Dad." Her heart breaks open. "Dad, I need you and Mom," she whispers, her voice choked, tears spilling again, but this time, not only from sorrow. It's release, the moment she admits she cannot bear this alone. Malcolm asks no questions, only says, "We're coming right away, my love." That promise, simple yet steadfast, is like a rope pulling her from the abyss. She sets the phone down, looking at Isabel, who remains quietly by her side, her eyes full of patience and love. Amara realizes, in this brokenness, she is not alone. She has Isabel, her parents, and above all, the child growing within her. The years with Dominic taught her to hide, to stay silent, but now, she feels a small flame ignite in her heart. It's not bright, not loud, but it's enduring, like embers glowing beneath ash. She will not be a victim. She will not let that slap define her. The quiet one has endured too long, and now, she is preparing to rise. Amara takes a deep breath, wiping tears with the back of her hand, her shoulders still trembling but no longer hunched. She looks at Isabel, offering a faint smile, a wordless thank you. The tea in her hands has cooled, but the warmth of friendship and family still radiates within her. She knows the road ahead will not be easy, that the world outside is still judging, but she is no longer afraid. The quiet one has decided. She will walk forward, not as Dominic's wife, but as Amara, the mother, the woman, the one who will reclaim herself. Dear audience, grab a glass of water, take a moment to relax, and keep listening to the story. The twists are still to come. And please drop a comment below, letting me know where you're watching from and what time it is for you. It's always a joy to see who's joining us from around the world. Drop a 1 in the comments if you find this story gripping, so we can keep bringing you more captivating tales. Amara Grace. Whitmore sits on the single bed in Isabel's guest room, her hands clasped tightly, nails digging into her skin as if that small pain could anchor her against the surging waves of doubt and determination. The sting of Dominic's slap, his betrayal with Serena, and the crowd's indifferent stares still burn in her mind, but they no longer slice her heart to pieces. They are fuel, igniting a quiet flame that urges her to rise. She is no longer the obedient wife, hiding her pain behind a perfect smile. She is Amara, the silent one, who has observed too long, and now she will wield her sharp gaze to turn the tables. In the days that follow, Amara stays in Isabel's small apartment, piecing her life back together from the fragments. Each morning, she wakes with a heavy heart, yet with a newfound purpose. She refuses to be just a victim, refuses to let her unborn child grow under the shadow of humiliation. She sifts through memories, the years as Dominic's wife, when she learned to notice everything, not out of suspicion, but from the instinct of a quiet one. The late-night calls he hurriedly took in his study, the unusual invoices she glimpsed on his desk, swiftly tucked away, the documents he locked tightly in the safe, as if they were secrets never meant to be touched. Each tiny detail, each seemingly insignificant piece, now forms a dark picture, and Amara resolves to expose it. She knows she must act. One afternoon, with Isabel out, Amara stands before the mirror, gazing into her deep brown eyes. They no longer blur with tears, but shine with resolve. She draws a deep breath, pulling on a loose sweater to conceal her pregnant belly, and quietly returns to the penthouse while Dominic is away. Her heart races as she punches in the code, her fingers trembling on the keypad. The door swings open, and she steps inside, feeling like an intruder in the home that was once her haven. She doesn't linger on lost happy days. Time does not wait, and neither does she. With the meticulous care of a silent observer, Amara moves swiftly, like a shadow guided by instinct. She opens the safe, retrieving the external hard drive Dominic always hid so carefully. She flips through drawers, gathering bank documents he assumed she'd never notice. On her phone, she pulls up the covert photos of transaction logs, snapshots taken in moments he wasn't watching. Each document, each number, is a piece of the truth, and Amara feels their power. She is not just a betrayed wife. She is the keeper of secrets that could topple an empire. As she reviews the documents, Amara uncovers large transfers to offshore accounts, vast sums concealed under a veneer of legitimacy. She sees Serena Blake's name, signing off on transactions, a complicit figure in the shadows. But what chills her is Vivienne Hayes' name, Dominic's mother, the powerful woman on the Hayes Enterprises board. Vivienne's signatures appear too often, too precisely, as if she were the architect of a sprawling financial fraud. Amara presses her lips together, her fingers tracing the lines of text, her heart beating faster. This is not just Dominic's personal betrayal. It is a larger crime, a secret she stumbled upon through her relentless observation. She closes the folder, clutching it to her chest, feeling as though she holds a bomb capable of destroying everything. Yet within, she feels no fear. Fear has given way to a new sensation. Power. Not the power of wealth or status, but the power of truth. The Silent One has seen it all, and now she will not let that truth be buried. She leaves the penthouse, her steps light but firm, each one a silent declaration that she will not be defeated. Back at Isabel's apartment, Amara sits, spreading the documents before her. She feels her child stir faintly in her womb, as if sensing the shift in its mother. She places a hand on her belly, whispering, "We'll be okay, my love." Those words are not just for the baby, but for herself. The Silent One no longer merely watches. She is preparing to fight, step by step, piece by piece, to reclaim her life. She knows the road ahead will be fraught with challenges, but the flame in her heart burns brightly, and it will never go out. Amara Grace Whitmore sits on the worn armchair in Isabel's small apartment, her hands clasped tightly, fingers gripping so fiercely as if trying to hold on to something slipping away. Within her, the shards of Dominic's slap, his betrayal, remain sharp, yet they no longer have the power to cage her. She has found a flame, small but steadfast, and now she is not alone in nurturing it. When her parents, Malcolm and Evelyn Whitmore, step into the apartment, their presence is like a warm breeze, melting the icy fog that has shrouded her soul. Malcolm, tall and imposing, sets down his suitcase, his eyes glinting with quiet resolve. Evelyn, with a gentle yet powerful smile, envelops Amara in an embrace, and in her mother's arms, she feels safe, if only for a fleeting moment. Amara sits between her parents, a sensation washing over her as if she were a child again, when every problem could be solved with a hug and a soothing word. But now, she is no longer the little girl needing shelter. She is a mother-to-be, a woman fighting to reclaim herself. Evelyn takes her hand, her slender but strong fingers seeming to pass an invisible strength to her daughter. "My darling," Evelyn begins, her voice trembling slightly, "I need to tell you something." Amara gazes into her mother's eyes, where invisible scars of the past linger. Evelyn's story is no fairy tale. It is an old wound, reopened to heal them both. Evelyn shares a secret kept hidden for years. Before meeting Malcolm, she was married to a man who abused her. That man, charming in public, turned into a monster behind closed doors. His biting criticisms, his suffocating control, and eventually, his blows, made Evelyn doubt her own worth. "I once believed I didn't deserve happiness," she says, her voice catching, as if the memory still stings. "But I left him, Amara. I found the strength to start anew." Her words, like a torch illuminating Amara's dark path, kindle a spark of hope within her. She is not alone. Her mother once stood where she stands now, and her mother prevailed. Amara feels tears welling up, not from pain, but from a profound empathy. She grips her mother's hand tightly, feeling the warmth of fingers that once trembled as hers do now. Evelyn isn't just recounting the past. She is handing Amara a map, a promise that wounds can heal, that silent ones like her can find their voice. Amara thinks of the child in her womb, of the time she wondered if she had the strength to give it a good life. Her mother's story is the answer. If Evelyn could rise from ashes, so can she. Malcolm, who has stood silently, steps closer, placing a hand on Amara's shoulder. His calm demeanor, like a steadfast mountain, gives her a sense of security she had long lost. He says little, but his eyes, deep and unwavering, speak volumes. "You are my daughter," he whispers, his voice warm and low, as if reminding her she carries the strength of their family. Amara looks at her father, seeing not just protection, but a vow that he will always be there, a shield between her and a world trying to crush her. Her family becomes Amara's foundation, not a place to hide, but a source of strength. She thinks of the documents she took from the penthouse, the pieces of evidence now tucked neatly in her bag. They are not mere papers. They are weapons, the voice of the silent one preparing to speak. She no longer feels small before Dominic and Vivian's empire. She has her parents, Isabel, and above all, the child growing within her, each heartbeat a reminder that she must fight. Amara draws a deep breath, wiping a tear from her cheek, and offers her mother a faint smile. "I can do this, Mom," she says, her voice trembling but resolute. Evelyn squeezes her hand, her eyes shining with pride. Malcolm stands beside them, his shoulders squared, as if ready to face any storm for his daughter. In that moment, Amara feels she is no longer the woman betrayed, humiliated. She is Amara, the silent one, who learned from her mother how to stand again, and from her father how to hold her heart steady. She is ready to go on, not for revenge, but for justice, for her child, and for herself. Amara Grace Whitmore sits in Lydia Harper's small office, her hands clasped tightly on the desk, her fingers trembling slightly as she gazes at the neatly stacked documents before her. Each sheet, each number, is a crystallization of sleepless nights, of meticulous observation, of a silent one who refused to let the truth be buried. Her heart pounds, not with fear, but with a newfound sensation, power. Not the power of wealth or fame, but the power of truth, a razor-sharp weapon she has honed in the shadows. Lydia, a sharp-witted lawyer with steely eyes, looks at Amara with rare respect. "You've done what many wouldn't dare," Lydia says, her voice low but firm, a declaration that Amara is no longer a victim. She is a warrior. Amara draws a deep breath, feeling as if she stands at a fateful crossroads. The years with Dominic, the slaps, the humiliating words, no longer bleed like open wounds. They are fuel, embers stoking the resilient flame within her. She contacted Lydia not for revenge, but for justice, not just for herself, but for the child growing in her womb, for others who might be crushed under the Hayes Empire. Lydia picks up the documents, flipping through each page, her gaze cutting like a blade. "This is a bomb," she says, and Amara knows that bomb is about to detonate. Together with Lydia, Amara hands over her evidence to the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. Each document she gathered, the external hard drive, the transaction logs, the covert photos, is a piece exposing a vast money laundering scheme. Vivian Hayes, Dominic's mother, the powerful woman with a cold smile and controlling eyes, stands at the center of that web. Her signatures, each stroke rigid and deliberate, appear on countless illicit transactions, as if she built an empire on deceit. A chill runs down Amara's spine as she thinks of Vivian, who once looked at her with disdain, as if she were merely an ornament in her world. But now, the silent one has forced her to face the truth. A surprise comes when Serena Blake, Dominic's former mistress, contacts Lydia. Serena, realizing she was merely a pawn in Vivian's game, agrees to testify in exchange for leniency. Amara thinks of Serena, her defiant gaze at the gala, and her heart aches with pity. Serena is not the enemy. She too is a victim, manipulated by the same force that tried to crush Amara. She nods, agreeing to let Serena cooperate, not out of forgiveness, but because she understands justice is not just for her. Each of Serena's statements is a hammer blow, shattering the polished facade of the Hayes family. At a press conference, Vivian appears, her sharp-tailored suit failing to mask the panic in her eyes. She tries to pin the blame on Dominic, calling Amara a jealous avenger, her voice cold but trembling. Amara, watching on the TV screen in Isabel's apartment, feels her heart tighten, not from Vivian's accusations, but from realizing her own strength. Her evidence, the numbers, the documents, the undeniable truths, is too powerful to be twisted. Vivian can say or do anything, but the truth has spoken, and it echoes louder than any lie. Hayes Enterprises' stock plummets, each red digit on the screen a verdict. Vivian is arrested, the image of her led away in handcuffs etched into Amara's mind. Dominic, seeing his empire crumble, signs the divorce agreement, granting Amara full custody without a fight. She looks at his signature on the papers, once familiar, now foreign, and feels a weight lift. She no longer needs him. She no longer needs his empire. She only needs herself and the child growing within her. Amara moves to a small apartment in Lincoln Park, where she begins an administrative job at a local construction company. She sits at her desk, fingers gliding over the keyboard, finding peace in the simplicity of it all. Each day, she feels herself rebuilding, not a glittering castle, but a true home, where she and her child can live in truth and love. The baby in her womb stirs, a reminder that she has done right. The silent one has confronted, and she has won, not with shouts, but with patience, with small but steady steps. She closes her eyes, drawing a deep breath, feeling as if she's stepping out of a nightmare. She opens them, gazing at the ultrasound photo taped to her desk, a faint smile curving her lips. The silent one has not only found justice, she has found herself, and now she is ready for a new beginning, where truth will always be her guiding light. Amara Grace Whitmore sits in the gentle sway of the rocking chair, nestled in the quiet embrace of the nursery, her arms tenderly cradling Aurora, her 9-month-old daughter. Aurora's sparkling brown eyes, a mirror of her mother's, dance with innocence, reflecting a world untainted by pain. At 9 months pregnant, Amara's body bore the weight of creation. But now her heart soars, unburdened, as if every wound, every scar from those shadowed days has been alchemized into a radiant glow. She gazes at Aurora, whose tiny lips curl into a carefree smile, and a surge of warmth floods her chest, like sunlight breaking through a storm. The name Aurora, Dawn, is no mere name. It is a vow, a blazing torch that lights the treacherous path Amara has trodden, from the sting of betrayal and the weight of humiliation, to the triumphant reclamation of her soul. The silent one, once voiceless, has unearthed her strength, and now she wields it to kindle hope in others, a beacon in the darkness. Each morning, Amara awakens to a quiet transformation within herself. She is no longer the trembling wife who cowered beneath Dominic's cruel slap, no longer a ghostly figure fading into the opulent backdrop of the Hayes family's world. She is Amara, a mother, a woman, a creator who has gathered the shattered pieces of her life and woven them into a vibrant, authentic tapestry. Her days are filled with purpose, as she serves on the board of an organization dedicated to supporting women who have endured abuse. There, she shares her story, not to revel in her victories, but to spark a flicker of hope in others. Each time she stands before a room of strangers, their eyes etched with scars that echo her own, her heart quickens. She speaks of the slap that echoed through her soul, the sleepless nights that stretched into eternity, and the moment she chose to rise. Each word she utters is a thread, weaving a bridge to those other silent ones, yearning for a glimpse of light in their own darkness. Isabel Torres, her unwavering ally, stands steadfast by her side, her radiant smile a lighthouse in Amara's stormiest moments. With Isabel's gentle resolve, they organize community talks, transforming spaces into sanctuaries where healing begins. Amara remembers the nights when Isabel sat beside her, a quiet sentinel absorbing her unspoken sobs, offering solace without judgment. Now, they build a haven together, a place where other women can find their voices. Isabel, her hair swept into a high ponytail, her voice warm and steady, often clasps Amara's hand before each talk, her touch a silent reminder of their shared strength. "You've got this," Isabel whispers, and Amara's lips curve into a smile, her heart fortified by a friendship that dragged her from the abyss. This bond, forged in the crucible of pain and perseverance, is a lifeline, a testament to the power of connection. Malcolm and Evelyn Whitmore, though returned to their home in Michigan, make frequent pilgrimages to Amara's side, their visits laden with the aroma of home-cooked meals and the weight of unconditional love. Evelyn, her hands slender yet unyielding, cradles Aurora with a tenderness that speaks of generations. Her eyes shimmer with pride as she watches her daughter and granddaughter, a living legacy of resilience. Malcolm, his presence a calm anchor, sits across from Amara, his awkward jokes coaxing laughter from her lips, a sound that feels like victory after so much sorrow. These moments, simple yet brimming with meaning, are the cornerstone of Amara's strength. She recalls her mother's wisdom, the quiet power of beginning anew, and her father's steady voice, affirming that she carries the unyielding spirit of their family. They are more than a support system. They are her muses, living proof that love can mend even the deepest wounds. One serene morning, Amara holds Aurora close, the baby's smile a radiant beacon in her mother's arms. Aurora's tiny hands stretch outward, as if eager to embrace the vastness of the world. Amara gazes at her daughter, feeling the vibrant pulse of that small heart, and sees a reflection of herself, a silent one, never frail, always enduring. She traces the arc of her journey, the public slap that seared her pride, the documents she gathered in secret, the day Vivian faced justice in shackles, and the moment Dominic's signature on the divorce papers set her free. Each step was a conquest, not over others, but over the shadows that sought to define her. The silent one did not merely endure, she blazed, and her light now reaches out, warming the hearts of those still lost in the dark. Amara Grace Whitmore sits in the gentle sway of the rocking chair, nestled in the quiet embrace of the nursery, her arms tenderly cradling Aurora, her 9-month-old daughter. Aurora's sparkling brown eyes, a mirror of her mother's, dance with innocence, reflecting a world untainted by pain. At 9 months pregnant, Amara's body bore the weight of creation, but now her heart soars, unburdened, as if every wound, every scar from those shadowed days has been alchemized into a radiant glow. She gazes at Aurora, whose tiny lips curl into a carefree smile, and a surge of warmth floods her chest, like sunlight breaking through a storm. The name Aurora, Dawn, is no mere name. It is a vow, a blazing torch that lights the treacherous path Amara has trodden. From the sting of betrayal and the weight of humiliation to the triumphant reclamation of her soul. The silent one, once voiceless, has unearthed her strength, and now she wields it to kindle hope in others, a beacon in the darkness. Each morning, Amara awakens to a quiet transformation within herself. She is no longer the trembling wife who cowered beneath Dominic's cruel slap, no longer a ghostly figure fading into the opulent backdrop of the Hayes family's world. She is Amara, a mother, a woman, a creator who has gathered the shattered pieces of her life and woven them into a vibrant, authentic tapestry. Her days are filled with purpose, as she serves on the board of an organization dedicated to supporting women who have endured abuse. There she shares her story, not to revel in her victories, but to spark a flicker of hope in others. Each time she stands before a room of strangers, their eyes etched with scars that echo her own, her heart quickens. She speaks of the slap that echoed through her soul, the sleepless nights that stretched into eternity, and the moment she chose to rise. Each word she utters is a thread, weaving a bridge to those other silent ones, yearning for a glimpse of light in their own darkness. Isabel Torres, her unwavering ally, stands steadfast by her side, her radiant smile a lighthouse in Amara's stormiest moments. With Isabel's gentle resolve, they organize community talks, transforming spaces into sanctuaries where healing begins. Amara remembers the nights when Isabel sat beside her, a quiet sentinel absorbing her unspoken sobs, offering solace without judgment. Now, they build a haven together, a place where other women can find their voices. Isabel, her hair swept into a high ponytail, her voice warm and steady, often clasps Amara's hand before each talk, her touch a silent reminder of their shared strength. "You've got this," Isabel whispers, and Amara's lips curve into a smile, her heart fortified by a friendship that dragged her from the abyss. This bond, forged in the crucible of pain and perseverance, is a lifeline, a testament to the power of connection. Malcolm and Evelyn Whitmore, though returned to their home in Michigan, make frequent pilgrimages to Amara's side, their visits laden with the aroma of home-cooked meals and the weight of unconditional love. Evelyn, her hands slender yet unyielding, cradles Aurora with a tenderness that speaks of generations. Her eyes shimmer with pride as she watches her daughter and granddaughter, a living legacy of resilience. Malcolm, his presence a calm anchor, sits across from Amara, his awkward jokes coaxing laughter from her lips, a sound that feels like victory after so much sorrow. These moments, simple yet brimming with meaning, are the cornerstone of Amara's strength. She recalls her mother's wisdom, the quiet power of beginning anew, and her father's steady voice, affirming that she carries the unyielding spirit of their family. They are more than a support system. They are her muses, living proof that love can mend even the deepest wounds. One serene morning, Amara holds Aurora close, the baby's smile a radiant beacon in her mother's arms. Aurora's tiny hands stretch outward, as if eager to embrace the vastness of the world. Amara gazes at her daughter, feeling the vibrant pulse of that small heart, and sees a reflection of herself, a silent one, never frail, always enduring. She traces the arc of her journey, the public slap that seared her pride, the documents she gathered in secret, the day Vivian faced justice in shackles, and the moment Dominic's signature on the divorce papers set her free. Each step was a conquest, not over others, but over the shadows that sought to define her. The silent one did not merely endure. She blazed, and her light now reaches out, warming the hearts of those still lost in the dark. She eases Aurora into the crib, her fingers lingering on the hand-knitted blanket from her grandmother, its softness a warm echo of the strength passed through generations. Amara rises, her eyes settling on the ultrasound photo still taped to her desk, a quiet smile blooming on her face. She has not only rediscovered herself, she has become a guiding star for other women, proving that the faintest voice can ignite the mightiest change. She draws a deep breath, as if pulling in the boundless possibilities of the future, and knows, with unshakable certainty, that though the path ahead stretches far, she is prepared. The silent one is now a luminous force, and her light will never dim. Amara's heart swells with gratitude for the journey, for the pain that shaped her, and for the love that saved her. She thinks of Aurora, whose laughter is a melody of hope, and of the women she has met, whose stories intertwine with hers in a tapestry of courage. Her life is no longer a performance, a facade crafted to please others. It is real, raw, and radiant, a testament to the power of resilience. She stands taller, her shoulders unbowed, her spirit unbroken. The world may have tried to silence her, but she has learned that silence can be a weapon, a quiet force that reshapes destinies. Amara is ready to face whatever lies ahead, not with fear, but with the fierce, unyielding light of a woman who has claimed her truth. There are moments in life when you uncover the quiet strength buried within you. When was that moment in your story? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If Amara's journey has touched your heart, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell to ensure you never miss our next inspiring tale. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the next video.